Okay, so this is the Dual Trial WCS 2025 rental competition where we get to play the World Championship winning decks in Master Duel. And I'm gonna be frank with you. I'm not gonna go over a lot of these decks in detail because I'm gonna give this event and this entire format the attention it deserves, which is like fuck all. Okay, you'll see when we get to some of the games that I played in this event. Oh boy, but yeah, then we have Rizio. This is just Rizio. There's not much to say other than the fact that if you're ending on Rizio Detonator in your Rizio deck, you're behind. Because actual end board that most people are going for now is that most of the players in the World Championship qualifier the World Championship qualifier. Geez, no, the World Championship ships. The most of the world's players went for Baguska, Starliege, Dual Drive with like two materials to give the Starliege a 2k attack so that they can't target the Starliege, and then cross, and that was it. There's no detonator on that end board because honestly, detonator without twins, like the detonator isn't. First of all, it does nothing because you have a Bagusa on the field. So like, there's really no difference between having a detonator on the field or having a dual drive on the field if you have a Bagusa already on the field. In fact, the dual drive is better because the dual drive gives again Starliege attack so that the Starliege has protects itself from targeting as well as your Baguska and your dual drive. And honestly, you're probably not beating Baguska, Starliege plus dual drive plus whatever non-engine you have. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The only real way to out that board was unironically evenly matched, which, as you see, this is the reason why people were playing evenly matched. One, because hand traps are limited, like are shared. So you see, there's one Veiler, one Droll, because these are shared between other decks. So like you can't play a full suite of hand traps, so you got to look for your non-engine elsewhere. So evenly match is one of the things to look for. Pretty good in a Rizio matchup if people are going for that specific Rizio board, and you have a one Lancia because you're not gonna share Lancia. Okay, you're not gonna like have Lancia run in every single deck because there's only one person. There's only one out of the six players. One out of the six decks you're facing in this event where that's gonna be Malice. So, this deck has the one Lancia because you can search it with a 7 Tachyon, whatever this. But yeah, it's just Rizio. It's not much. You got Ritual Beast, which I think this deck is kind of ass. I'm not gonna lie. If you can win a game with this deck in this event, in this dual trial, you're probably a god because this deck does not look good at all. Like Super Poly, first of all, Super Poly is ass against both Rizio and Malice. I say it's ass against Rizio because again, you're supposed to not end on Detonator. Okay, you're not supposed to end on Detonator. You're supposed to end on Dual Drive, Starliege plus a Baguska. And if you do that, then there's nothing that you can super poly on the end board. So this card doesn't do jack shit. And then you have Purge, which is like one of your few non-engine choices, but this deck doesn't have that many hand traps in the first place. This deck also get destroyed by every Mulch Army, Fuelas, Perulia, and Meows. And yeah, I can pro this lot going first, so that's fine. You just avoid all the floodgate hand traps, all the Charmies, all the Lancias, and just hopefully your combo resolves. That's basically it. Going second, don't worry about that. Who needs to go in second game plan? Yeah. Then we have Malice. It's just fucking Malice. Like it's just Malice. Then we have a Mermail, which is just Mermail with the Sela Camp and Barrier statue. Just to make going first even more auto win. And then it has Silent Wabi. Is probably the only interesting tech, the most interesting tech out of these 6 decks because. Basically, Poseidon is a really good card, but Poseidon going first is actually not that good because if your opponent doesn't control a card that you can bounce with Poseidon, then you can't send the water monster from your deck, which makes Poseidon a lot less useful. Silent Wabi, you just give it to your opponent, and then that makes your Poseidon live. So yeah, that's cool. That's nice. Other than that, it's you've seen what Mermail does, hand loop 2 to 3, and then barrier statue. Awesome gameplay, right? Totally great gameplay. And then Nesh's decks. Nesh is not playing Rizio or Malice. He's designated that to his other teammates. So instead, he's playing an anti-Rizio deck and an anti-Malice deck. So the anti-Rizio deck is Memento Goblin Rider. Specifically, the Goblin Rider stuff is good against Rizio. Also, what's good against Rizio is Book of Eclipse and then Triple Tactics Thrust for Talon. So like this is the deck that's meant to counterpick Rizio because Nesh can't play Rizio or Malice himself because his teammates are. So like he's picking 2 specific counter picks. So yeah, this is just Memento. There's no Mjolnir lock. Mjolnir lock was artifact Mjolnir lock was in some Memento decks in this Worlds qualifiers, or in this, I keep saying qualifiers, it's Worlds Championships. It's the last event of the year. But yeah, there are some people on the Mjolnir lock, but obviously if you're playing the Goblin Rider stuff, I don't think you can go for the Goblin stuff and go for Mjolnir lock after. It doesn't. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a way to do it, but like it's probably not efficient, probably not necessary, because you're only ever queuing this when your opponent's playing Raizo in the first place. Which majority of the time I saw Nesh queue against not Raizo, I saw him queue against Malice, which in that case, this is the deck you play because it has triple Meows, double Lancia, triple Chaos Hunter, which I don't even think Chaos Hunter is that good because everybody is playing Cerberus in this Worlds because clearly, Lancias are limited. So like if you're trying to go for more anti-Malice hand traps, you kind of have to look into Chaos Hunter, which is flawed because it loses the Nightmare Cerberus. But I mean, like, what can you do, right? This deck, you go first, just don't get Max Seed. If you get Max Seed or Fool Loss, it's a bit rough. But if you don't get hit by a Flanking Hand Trap, you're probably going to win because this deck just literally just extenders on extenders, like Sangenjin, Unicorn, Die Bellstar. Most of the games I saw where people played Snake Eyes Fiendsmith, they didn't even access their Snake Eyes engine. They just were playing just Kashira. They were playing Kashira Millennium Fiendsmith control with like the Snake Eyes cards as hand trap baits, because the Snake Eyes cards would just get hand trapped, then they wouldn't have access to your Snake Eyes engine. But like, it doesn't matter because your opponent probably used 2 or 3 hand traps on you at that point, and you still make an end board with like Appaloosa and like Fiendsmith shit. So like that's more than enough to win most of the time. But I mean, like Snake Eyes Fiendsmith, I'm sure if you were playing like as early as recently as 3 months ago, you kind of know what Snake Eyes Fiendsmith plays as well. So it's just like that. It's just without the oak. Okay. And yeah, so now let's get on to the games. I'm not gonna go over the games in detail because let's just look. I played 6 games. Let's see what happened in each of these 6 games. Okay. For first game. Okay. First game, I go second. My opponent goes 7th Tachyon into add X, into I max see them, and they pass. Excellent. Goes my turn, I top deck Ash, they go Fool Loss, I Ash the Fool Loss. Okay. And I use Tract. And I use Tract, Dump Worry, and my opponent leaves. So yeah, that was excellent, really interactive game, but there's a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh being played there. There's a lot of monster summon. The game totally did not end without either player summoning a single monster that game. Cool. Yeah, Maxi decided the Worlds Finals. Now we can also play this dual trial to also have games decided by Maxi, because that's what we all want, right? And now this game, I'm going second, and my opponent's playing Raizio, and I open finals. By the way, side note, okay, this Snake Eyes Fiendship deck, this deck is fucking garbage into Raizio. This deck has like an unwinnable matchup versus Raizio going second. It's absolutely terrible. The fact that you're playing Meows as well and Chaos Hunter, which are cards that are terrible, which are also terrible in Raizio matchup, just makes it even worse. But yeah, this Snake Eyes deck was meant to counterpick Malice. Okay, if you saw your opponent was playing Malice, you queued Snake Eyes. If you saw your opponent was playing Raizio, you definitely do not queue with this deck. There's no circumstance where you're queuing this deck against a Raizio opponent, okay? That's what the other deck is for. So, this matchup never happened, which is why, it's acceptable for Nesh to have a bad Raizio matchup if you're planning to never play this deck versus Raizio in the first place. That's not how it works in this dual trial. This dual trial, people just play people can pick any of the 6 decks. You don't know what your opponent's playing. And a lot of people are playing Raizio, so playing Snake Eyes Fiendsmith, probably not the best idea, because look how much I have to mine into a detonator. By the way, open 1-for-1 plus Poplar. I open 1 of my 3 1-for-1 targets, and then I get Frost, and then what the fuck am I supposed to do with like Wedgie Tempo into a detonator? Like what the fuck am I supposed to do versus this? Okay, so he gets to pop my Poplar, then he gets to pop my Wedgie Tempo. Okay, cool. I guess we're gonna 1-for-1, and my 1-for-1 gets ashed. Alright, cool. So, yeah, I could activate Burf, and then Burf get popped by Rhythmic. Awesome. There was a that definitely felt like both players had a chance that game. So anyway, what happened next? Okay, let's see. But game number 3. Maybe there will be some Yu-Gi-Oh being played in this game. Let's see. Let's see if there's some Yu-Gi-Oh being played. And I go first, and I open double call by. So actually, false. There's actually no Yu-Gi-Oh being played at all because my opponent goes Perulia, and I get to negate one of their hand traps with call by the grave. Sick. And then I special unicorn, and then I unicorn add birth, and then they throw me, and I get to call by a second hand trap. So awesome. I really love how call by makes how much called by buffs going first. That going first definitely needed more help, right? Like clearly. So yeah, that was an excellent game. So much interaction back and forth. I felt like my opponent really had a chance that game going second versus double call by. Okay, so at this point I switched off Snake Eyes Fiend Sid because I realized I was not going to get a real game playing this deck. It just wasn't happening. So instead I swapped the Mermail because that's a deck that's known for having real games of Yu-Gi-Oh played, right? Mermail. And then so this is a game where theoretically I have a chance. In reality, not really. And the reason why I don't have a chance is because I suck dick playing Mermail. I am the worst Mermail player in the world. So like I have no chance of breaking a Razio board because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But also, it's hard. It's hard to break Cross plus Star Leech plus non-engine with Mermail if you don't open Maxi. If you don't open like. If I opened Shadow Squad, if I opened a Dragoons in this hand, I had something good to send off the Abyss. If I had more more value, maybe I could have had a chance. Maybe if I was better, maybe if I wasn't dog shit at Mermail, I had a chance. But like, this is still fucking rough, even with this hand. So like, and of course, my top deck is Maxi. So like, right on time, right? And I'm gonna go Abyss sign Wabi. They're gonna negate of Cross, not realizing that Abyss is not a once per turn in hand, so now I ditch it. Now I go Bristeus and I get Baylor. So I was trying to get an Abyss Shrine to hand. But like I guess I can't get an Abyss Shrine to hand. So like fuck me, I guess. So now I'm gonna normal summon Net the Abyss, and this is where I realized I had no chance because my opponent had Ash, and then they're going to call by the grave my Shadow Squad, and then they're also gonna detonator pop my Abyss. So yeah. When I realized my opponent had Valor on top of their Endboard, they had Valor, Ash plus Call by the Grave. So there was actually no chance I was winning that game because whatever I sent to the grave would have just been fucking Call by the Grave in the first place. And now I'm gonna use Abyss, or I'm gonna use Poseidon. By the way, I can't target Detonator because of the fucking Star Leech. So that's awesome. So now my only target is their plugin, which I targeted because I want to fucking draw off Max C. Maybe if I drew a real water monster, this could have been a game. But instead I drew Abyss Pike after I already normal summoned. So instead I had no chance because I can't. If I drew another Abyss Teus, we actually could have maybe even won that game, but nah, that's that was the closest game I played out of these 6 games. That was the most Yu-Gi-Oh being played, a game where I lost the 3 non-engine plus the Raizo Endboard. Next game, it's another game where I go second. Except this game is a lot worse because you look at this hand right here. This hand is a lot worse than my other hand. Minstrel, Barrier Statue, Abyss Pike, Mulan Glacier. Jesus Christ, this is like 3 bricks in hand. Deep Sea Minstrel is basically like a brick going second because what the hell am I like? My opponent already vomited their entire hand onto the field. What the hell am I gonna rip with Minstrel, right? So yeah, I Ash because foolishly thinking that 1 Ash would be enough to stop any semi-competent deck in Yu-Gi-Oh. Spoilers, it's not. It's just not. Like, there's no point where I could Ash anything that it would have mattered, most likely. But, by the fact that my opponent hard opened the Die Bellstar plus Wedgie Temple is kind of rough, not gonna lie. That's, yeah, so, They're gonna proceed to do the worst Snake Eyes combo I've ever seen in my life, by the way. And it don't matter because I have 3 bricks in hand. But, yeah, they're gonna place the Doom Dragon and then send the Doom Dragon. Then go sequence. This is alright, they're gonna go Desiree and then they're gonna Snake Eyes Die Bellstar. And here's the problem, okay? They're gonna go into Appaloosa. why would you go into it now? Like you're not playing around you're playing around Nibiru. Like did they realize that Nibiru that I'm playing 43 cards and therefore I'm not playing Nibiru in my deck? Or did or not that? Did they not realize that? I don't think there's a Nibiru in any of the 6 deck lists. I could be wrong, but like I'm pretty sure like at least like most of the deck lists did not have a Nibiru. Like at least 5 out of 6 did not have a Nibiru in there. Probably 6 out of 6, which is like, you know, why you got to play around Nibiru like that? And in playing around Nibiru, they've scuffed their end board because now they end with they don't end with Flamebridge on field. They end with IP plus Sunlight Wolf, which if my opponent didn't have Desiree, you know, I would have had a chance. I could normal summon Barrier Statue of the Torrent, and that would turn off their field spell, so they couldn't summon IP. They would also turn off their Princess Engrave. Unfortunately, my opponent has a Desiree on the field, so it actually does not matter at all. And then look at my top deck. My top deck is a fucking excellent. This is my average experience with Merveil. It's going second and opening the worst 4 water monsters, the worst 5 water monsters in the deck. So yeah, I'm gonna go Minstrel, and they're gonna negate my Minstrel with Appaloosa, which is like, why are you even negating my Minstrel with that? Okay, what is that card in hand? Like, what card do you need to protect from my Minstrel? So anyways, yeah, that was a couple rough games going second with Mermail, which is still more gameplay than I have with Snake Eyes Fiendsmith, even though just barely, because like, you know, we just have some banger games in this dual trial. And then it's I go first again. So what happens when I go first? So I open the Callback Grave. Okay, so anyways, I can go Deep Sea Minstrel now, pitch Shadow Squad, rip the Dominus Impulse from their hand so they have no more hand traps, and then do full Mermail combo except my opponent leaves because they know they're cooked. Okay, so yeah, that was 6 excellent games of Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay, those were some very back and forth gameplay being played right there. Okay, God, fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel fucking sucks ass right now.